In this lesson, let's explore the relationship of text in Adobe Illustrator with, believe it or not, the eyedropper. Now go ahead and open up eyedropper and text.ai. It's in your working folder. Here's the eyedropper over here. Now if you've ever used the eyedropper in, say, Photoshop, you kind of know what it does. You can come over here and click, and it changes what's called in Photoshop the foreground color, and you use it on something. Or you add it to your swatches palette. You do whatever you want. Here's a photograph. You can, in Adobe Illustrator, take colors even off a photo, and then you use them on something. But in Illustrator, we're primarily working with objects, and there's a lot more power to this tool. Let's just do something simple. I do have some text at the top of the screen. The magical eyedropper, it's in the impact font, and I want to change the stroke and the fill to match another object on my screen. And let's say these samples are, well, objects on my screen. So to get it to change the most efficiently, you could do something like this. Select it first. Now I already have the eyedropper selected. So I'm going to hold down what I call the temporary selection tool. That's the control key on Windows and the command key on a Mac. And so you get that. Go ahead and click up here and select it. With that selected and the eyedropper chosen, I can come over here and click, and it will change it. Now the top row are all stroked, as you can see. Even patterns work if you want to use them. The bottom don't have strokes, and you can see that it will remove the stroke. So one of the things that the eyedropper does in Adobe Illustrator is it looks for stroke and fill and will replace both if an item is selected. Now we haven't gotten into transparency yet, but these are semi-transparent, and it will be more than glad to apply that too. So if the item is selected, clicking on an object will change the stroke and the fill of the particular text that you have selected, even if you want to use something like a color off a photograph. But watch one thing. Watch over here especially. See the stroke? Photographs, rasters, don't have strokes. So if you choose a color off a photograph, that's fine, but it won't bring a stroke in because it doesn't have one. It'll take it off. All the control you want, but that's not all. How does it know to do that? How does it control that? Well, let me show you something. A lot of the tools that we use in Adobe Illustrator, if you double-click, have options. Now check out these options if I double-click on the eyedropper. Quite a few. Now the first one I want to mention here is point sample, and that's for raster images. Photographs are made up of little tiny pixels, and a lot of times they're in different color combinations, very small, to show the eye a color it can't produce. So if you do a point sample, you're only clicking on one single pixel. Usually if I'm taking colors off photographs, I go to a 3-point. 3x3 average, but that's for rasters. Everything else is point sample. Now down here, this is what it picks up. Over here, this is what it applies. Fills, colors, transparencies, overprints. You can say, don't pick something up or don't apply it. So it's up to you to decide what you want to do. By default, they're all on, including character style and paragraph style. So let's do this. Let's get out of here. Now let me turn off, in my layers panel on this particular document, I have all that stuff here, and there's my painting. And let's go to text. Now I've got text in here. Actually, let's turn the colors back on. We could leave them up there. They're okay. It's the same text on the left and the right. On the left, basically, I have some text, and it's been formatted. It's a different color. It's a different font. There's different spacing values, all those different things that we've worked through in this chapter on formatting text. And what I would like to do is apply them. Now we can apply text or colors. Let me show you something. If I come over here, and I don't have anything selected, so changing or selecting something with the eyedropper here simply fills the eyedropper with the stroke and the fill, and you can see it over here, but it's not changing anything because nothing's selected. Let me go ahead and select that one again because that's nice and bright. If I want to use that stroke and fill on another object, I can do this. If I hold the Alt key down, watch the eyedropper. See how it switches over? That's pull in, that's push out. In other words, if I come to here, hold the Alt key and click, it will change it. So you don't have to have something selected to make that transition. Now remember, when we double-clicked over here, we did have character styles and paragraph styles to be absorbed or picked up and to be applied. So I come over here. Now watch very carefully. See the little T next to the eyedropper? That means you're not only going to pick up things like color, but you will pick up formatting. So if I click, and there's the color, if I want to apply all of that stuff over here, hold down the Alt key, that's the Option key on a Mac incidentally, hold down the Alt or Option key and click and watch what happens. It applies everything. So in a program like Photoshop that's raster based, You're using an eyedropper in a very simple, straightforward way. You're picking up a color. In this program, you're picking up patterns, gradients, colors, strokes, fills, styles, just about anything, and you control what it does simply by double-clicking over here. That's a pretty powerful tool.